You're such an asshole.
AssholeConsulting.com, welcome. The Gray One himself, that's his name, Cynical Libertarian Society. I was listening to his podcast. He's like, that fucker, Clary, all he does is wake up, gets his coffee in the morning, puts on a stupid hat, and yells at the internet. Then after that, he kicks up his feet and smokes a cigar outside. He's very close. So today, I decided to shower first. I even got a haircut from the GF. And so now I hope I'm presentable, Cynical Libertarian Society. So, anyway, we have a Clary test request. You're like, what's a Clary test? Well, the Clary test is the largest single advancement in the entire history of political science, because political science is not a real study or discipline. So once a real man called an economist, me, came in and said, hey, I noticed this interesting thing that people who make the worst politicians, the scummiest people, came from money. They majored in stupid fucking liberal arts bullshit. They never had a real job in their life, and they're currently doing fuck all now. It's a 4-question test. I noticed they're the worst ones, like President George Bush, both, President Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and pretty much any scumbag politician, right or left, green or not, and then all those weird European odd parties you guys have. Just break it down between producers and parasites. That all is. The Green Party, they're not really about going green. Isn't it odd that the Green Party is this much environmentalism and that much communism give us other motherfucking people shit? It's just amazing. It's just like, look, it's producers and parasites. Tories and conservative. Tories are the conservative. Tories and labor or whatever. Anyway, we found out that this test applies to other people as well, as to whether or not they just have good general character, people you want to hang out with, or people you'd like to have a beer with. And somebody wrote, and he doesn't want me to mention it, hey Aaron, I paid the $25 for a Clary test on J.D. Salinger. Salinger? I don't know, I think he's an author. Remember, the old captain here is not well read. He's well read on economics, a whole ton of other stuff, but not literature. J.D. Salinger, here we go. He's dead now. Wow, he lived to 91. Pretty good looking dude. All right. Jerome David Salinger, born 1919 to January of 2010, was an American writer who is known for his widely read novel, Catcher in the Rye. Oh, he wrote Catcher in the Rye. Was this the guy that worked as a security guard too? Or am I thinking of somebody else? There's a famous American author who worked as a security guard, and he wrote his books kind of like I did. Following his early success publishing short stories and The Catcher in the Rye, Salinger led a very private life for more than half a century. He published his final original work in 1965 and gave his last interview in 1980. And he just made his money and ran off and lived life, you know. Salinger was raised in Manhattan and began writing short stories while in secondary school. Several were published in Story magazine in the early 1940s before he began serving in World War II. Okay, he's a World War II vet, that's good. In 1948, his critically acclaimed story, A Perfect Day for Banana Fish, appeared in the New Yorker magazine, which became home to much of his later work. In 1951, his novel, The Catcher in the Rye, was an immediate popular success. His depiction of an adolescent alienation and loss of innocence and the protagonist Holden Caulfield was influential, especially among adolescent readers. The novel remains widely read and controversial, selling around 250,000 copies. What's it like to be like, you're dead and you sell 250,000 copies a year? God bless him. Blah, 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 blah. Let's get through the early life and experiences. Born in New York City, his father, Sol Salinger, sold kosher cheese and was from a Jewish family of Lithuanian descent, his father having been the rabbi for the Adith Jeshurun congregation in Louisville, Kentucky. Salinger's mom was born in Atlantic, Iowa, of Scottish, German, and Irish descent, but changed her name to Miriam and considered herself Jewish after marrying Salinger's father. Salinger did not learn that his mother was not of Jewish ancestry until just after he celebrated his bar mitzvah. His only sibling is his older sister Doris, and she died in 2001. Boy, there's some longevity in that family. Look at that, both 90 years old. Went to public school. He was enrolled in McBurney School, a nearby private school, and he managed the fencing team, wrote newspaper. I don't know, how much does a cheese-selling rabbi make? Salinger had trouble fitting in his New York and took measures to conform, such as calling himself Jerry. His family called him Sonny. His parents enrolled him at Valley Forge Academy Military in Wayne, Pennsylvania. Salinger began writing stories under the covers at night. He wrote military. Started his freshman year at New York University in 1936. He considered studying special education, but dropped out the following spring. That fall, his father urged him to learn about the meat importing business, and went to work for a company in Vienna, Austria. Well, this guy's all over the place. 38, he attended Ursinus College in Collegeville, Pennsylvania. He dropped out after one semester. If you don't get a degree, that's better, but he's also going to fall under the category of him going to college in the day when it actually meant something. Not like you millennial dipshits where it's like, can you sign your name and sign away at $100,000 at a shitberg school? I can. Salinger, God, what is this? The fourth time. Attended Columbia University School of General Studies, where he took a writing class taught by Whit Burnett, longtime editor of Story Magazine. According to Burnett, he did not distinguish himself until a few weeks later. Stories of did he ever graduate? Is there a period education Maxim College in New York? Okay, I don't think he did graduate. Became editor, corresponded several years. So it's 42. Started dating Una O'Neill. Jean O'Neill. Long love wares. Okay, goes to Germany. Post-war years. Signed up for a 6-month period of denazification duty in Germany for counterintelligence corps. Wow. Okay. He lived in Weissenberg, and soon after marrying Sylvia Welter, he brought her to the United States in 1946, but the marriage fell apart after 8 months, and Sylvia returned to Deutschland. 72, Salinger's daughter, Margaret, was with him when he received a letter from Sylvia. He looked at the envelope without reading it, tore it apart. It was the first time he had heard from her since the breakup. Look at that, 1972, 1946. When he was finished with the person, he was through with them. He's still writing. Had to become an avid follower of Zen Buddhism to the point he gave reading lists on subjects to his dates and arranged a meeting with Buddhist scholar T.G. Suzuki. More writing. Catcher in the Rye, 1951. Moved to Cornish. Marriage and family. So he wrote up until the 60s, 70s. Divorce. Yeah, you know what? Later publicity. I bet you he just lived off of the royalties. I don't know. So this guy, he's the one thing. He's an interesting fellow. I probably is one of the where I would kind of throw the Clary test out of here and say it just sounds like an interesting fellow because he's going all over the world. Didn't know what he wanted to do. Kept trying to go to college. Went to military. Served in World War II. Signed on to stay later. I would say maybe a quarter point. It just doesn't sound like it came from that much money, but if his dad's like, hey, you really got to get into the cheese business, man, I don't know. Let's just do 0. He didn't come from money. He didn't major in stupid shit. Whether he actually attended the degree, it doesn't say. I don't think he actually got his degree. But he went to college in the 30s, where it actually meant something. So he's not going to get a point there. Did he work? Yeah, he wrote, and I know today writing is not a real job. Actually, I do write important, serious shit. Everyone else writes for Jezebel, Salon, CNN, that fucking bullshit. I don't believe that's real writing. But it was a real job. He served in the Navy, and then what did he do? I think he just said, holy shit, they're selling how much? Fuck it. I want to be quiet and keep to myself. Yeah, so I would say he's got 0. But because he was so quiet, and I just... maybe half a point down the road if someone knew his personal story better. I don't want to read through the whole Wikipedia entry here. But yeah, definitely. Would I like to have a beer with him? Hell yeah. That'd be a real interesting fellow to have a beer with. I never read Catcher in the Rye. I heard it was really boring. Maybe they forced me to read it and I just went to the back of the book, read the last chapter, and then finished off my book report that way. Of which I did like almost 12 book reports like that. Literally plagiarizing. My teacher looked at me and says, she read the back of the book, then read my report. Said, did you copy this? I'm like, no. Just straight face. No. So yeah, J.D. Salinger, probably a 0. Very interesting fellow. yeah, just sounds like a really interesting and neat guy. So, all right, you guys got a Clary test request? Go to the old Capitalist. It costs $25. That's all it costs, and there's not much to it than that. So, if you guys got questions, go to assholeconsulting.com. And for money, I will give you part of my finite life. Imagine that. You give me money, which in an ironic sense is just you giving me part of your finite life. And in exchange, I give you part of my finite life, but with each other's respective skills and trades and specialities, using, creating, and earning the money to exchange our value. All right, we'll talk to you kids later. Toodles.